Alright guys, so we did a thing today. I went to the junkyard and I picked up this cluster from a 98 Mazda B2500 stick. So the reason I got this cluster is because it has a RPM gauge. Unfortunately for my 97 Ranger here, manual doesn't have a RPM gauge, which in my opinion is kind of offensive to give you a stick car with no RPM gauge. But now from my quick junkyard research, it seems as though all of these have the same harness between Ford, between Mazda, between years. So, you know, 95, 96, 97 to like 2001 is what they had out there. They all look to be the same harness. So this harness should be perfectly fine, fit right in here. I actually tested on a couple of them that didn't have a speedometer in there, and somebody had already taken it out of. So let's see if we can get this working, guys. We're gonna go ahead and take this dash apart now, and then we'll see if we can get this working. Alright guys, we got the dash apart here. Just letting this cover sit here and rest up against the seat. We got everything out, cluster out. So here are our three harnesses that plug into the cluster. So what I'm going to do is grab our new cluster, go ahead and plug this thing up, and then we're going to go ahead and give it some power, and we're going to see if it turns on. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged up. Alrighty, so we got her plugged up. Not sure if you can see it, but I do have the plastic front covering off. I don't know if we're going to need to adjust anything, so this is kind of just a practice run, but let's see what happens, guys. Keys in. She looks like she's working. Got a fuel reset light on. That's interesting. Let's see here. Oh yeah, got RPMs, guys. All right, so it's working. I'm just going to do a little bit of research on this fuel reset light, and we're going to see if we can get that figured out real quick. But other than that, guys, we're looking kind of good here. So let's see what happens. Just one thing I want to note real quick too, guys. If I reset this just by putting it down, as you can see, and turn it on, it does recognize the correct fuel pressure, or the correct amount, I should say. See, it pretty much translates. It looks pretty much to be the same amount. So it definitely knows the exact amount of gas. So it's weird that we have this light on. And looking at this cluster here, and looking at this old cluster, there is no, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the engravings of where each light is supposed to be. I see nothing regarding fuel cap, fuel reset, nothing. So we'll see, guys. We're going to test it out. We'll see if it goes off on its own. If not, I'm just going to pull the bulb, because obviously it's reading correctly. There's no need to have that bulb, you know, so we're good. Let's go ahead and get this back together. Alright guys, we're ready for the reinstall of our new cluster here. I cleaned it up a bit. There was a bunch of dirt, grime, and stuff. So since we had the clear cover off, we cleaned that, cleaned the inside. Everything is nice and freshened up. So one thing I did do, I don't want to cheat you guys, but I did remove that fuel reset light. So I did take that off because the OEM cluster from this truck didn't even have that in the first place. So that might be why it's illuminating. So we should be good. It's reading the fuel as we showed. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in, and let's go ahead and do that now, guys. All right, guys, let's get this thing put back together here. right, guys, we got it in. We're just going to start it up one more time before we fasten it in and get it in there securely. So let's check it and make sure it works. Oh yeah, she works. As soon as I turn it on, everything adjusted. We got our battery gauges right, oil gauge, RPM gauge is perfectly right there at 1, fuel gauge adjusted, and our temperature gauge adjusted to cold because it says cold. So we're good, guys. Let's get this put back together. Alright guys, as you can see, we are officially put back together. Everything is put back perfectly, so let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Helps if you put the clutch in, huh? Alright guys, there we go, fired up. Everything is working, fuel gauge is working. Let's do our RPMs. Oh yeah. She's working, guys. This is perfect. Now, there is a method to get the mileage to roll back. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to notate where it was at on the old cluster versus this, so I know exactly what the mileage is on the truck. But it involves taking the cluster apart. It's pretty involved. You got to calibrate the speedometer. It's not crazy hard, it's just involved. I might do it in the future. I actually might try to get another one of these and mess with it and take it apart. So I just got this, you know, for now. I can always get another one once one pops up. So I'll probably grab another one and, you know, dive into that, and I'll have a follow-up video. But for right now, guys, we got this fully installed. Everything's good to go. Got an RPM gauge on our Ranger now, and I'm gonna go ahead and take it for a test drive, guys. So hopefully this helps, and stay tuned for some more content, guys. I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.